Alyssa had a lot of character growing up. She worked hard. She had excellent relationships with her friends and family. She was a competitor, and she strove to achieve to the highest of her abilities in everything that she did.
I think that was part of the reason that Alyssa may have gone to OSU was her brother had started out there a couple years ahead of her. Sister-brother rivalry shall never be underestimated.
Alyssa and I were sorority sisters, first and foremost. We met my freshman year. I was a freshman, she was a junior. Surprisingly enough, we were the only two chemical engineers in our sorority, so she was my academic mentor. Alyssa was very successful at OSU, both in the academic side of things, but also in her activities and in her service to the community. She was a top 10 freshman woman. She did research going into college on the biomedical side and was very involved on the academic side. But she also was active throughout the university, the college, and the school. On the university, she was the executive director of the big event, OSU's largest community service project. She was also homecoming queen and was named the top female graduate at OSU in 2002. Alyssa was very sarcastic. She's hilarious. She's also very dry and very sarcastic. And so people who didn't know her, like especially when we were in college, they might have been kind of intimidated because she was so, I was intimidated when I first met her. But everyone who worked with her and had spent any time with her would talk about how caring and loving that she was.
Yeah, so I met Alyssa initially as we were going through Rush. We ended up on the same lawn on bid day at the Kappa Alpha Theta House. We used to drive around Stillwater, blaring lots of red dirt music, listening to that while enjoying a little bit of a reprieve. We had a lot of common classes those first couple of years, particularly as you battle through those initial chemistry courses, which are the same for veterinary medicine as they are chemical engineering. And so we really bonded over that. And we're both from kind of agricultural families, but had strong aspirations to hopefully do good things in life, but certainly remembered, she always remembered where she was from, but always looked forward to where she was going.
My name is Jeff Warner. I'm Alyssa's husband. We had two children together. We have Audra, who is 7.5-year-old, going 8 this December, and we also have Laurel, who's 4.5-year-old, turning 5 this December as well. I met her in the Houston area probably 15 years ago, Super Bowl 2009-ish. We had a good mutual friend. We both worked at ExxonMobil that always had a Super Bowl party, and I got invited to it, she got invited to it, and we got a chance to meet at that. So when I met Alyssa in her career, she was probably mid-level manager, mid-level senior processing engineer type level. When I first met her, she was working on a large ExxonMobil offshore platform, offshore Canada. Towards the last couple of years, she had been doing a lot of non-core engineering roles, some HR staffing type roles, engineer management, but not really touching things in an engineering capacity, and it was time for her to get back into it. So when she took maternity leave, we had talked about opportunities that would be good for us as a family, and one of those was overseas. Papua New Guinea kind of came up on the radar because it was a good fit for her, and it was also potentially really a good fit for the family. So we went over there in May of 2019, took our 6-month-old daughter and our 3.5-year-old and got on a plane on May 15th and left the United States. Came back periodically for annual leave once a year, but it was a residential assignment. So it was a big project, and she was fortunate enough through her experience and relationship she had built with ExxonMobil to get selected for that as the LNG plant manager. Things that Alyssa liked outside of work, she loved cooking. That was like her big passion. She'd always liked that. She had a cooking light subscription and pulled the magazine recipes out and always trying something new. There's not much to do over in Papua New Guinea for family time or downtime, so you spend a lot of time with your family, and one of the things she liked to do was cooking, and we were all very happy about it. So couldn't get good pizza over there, but she was getting pretty good at figuring out how to make a pizza in our oven. Always had a long history of ran for many years, and she picked up cycling. Don't forget spending time with the girls. That was probably her primary hobby. But hopefully that can't be understated how much time she loves spending time with them. I know a little bit about her scholarship activity, and I know so passionate about OSU. She wanted to give back. T. Boone Pickens was also doing a program where he would match on top of that. So for every dollar she was putting in, it got bigger in a hurry. So she did have the opportunity to put into that program, and then actually coming from a rural town, did put one of the stipulations in there that I think it had to be a engineering degree and from somebody from a rural activity. It couldn't be somebody from Houston trying to get a business degree. It had to be somebody from engineering and outside of the city area.
What I think she's taught me more than anything is to be true to myself, because Alyssa was true to herself. She didn't care if it was popular. She said what she thought. She stood up for maybe the underdog when it wasn't popular. She said what she thought. And so I feel like I've tried to incorporate that, especially since her passing, a lot more, because that's what she left me, is a legacy of strength. Be who you are and stand up for what you believe in.
If you had the opportunity, and you're fortunate to have her in your life, you cannot forget her impact. You know, her two beautiful daughters that I have no doubt will follow in her footsteps of being impactful and great in whatever path that they choose. She had a great foundation with her family, you know, that was important for her to continue with her girls.
When we think about the Hall of Fame, it's really about recognizing people that have made a difference in their industry, in engineering, and those sorts of things. And for me, you know, in looking at what she's done and the people that she's impacted, it's a very easy decision of, you know, this is who we want to be recognizing.